video is a bit of an introduction into GeoGebra. You've got a bit of a grid here where you can plot some graphs, you can do some diagrams, you can make it a little bit more interactive. You've got a few little settings. I can do a whole lot of diagrams here. I can put in some points, I can put in some lines. I'm going to use more. There's a lot of things you can do with geometry. There's also a few things to do with graphing. If you want to put in a graph in here, you can have a few settings for what I want to do. I want to go through I want to make just a little diagram for angles on a straight line. So I don't really need an axis, so I'm going to get rid of it. And I'm going to go back to this geometry section. Alright, to make angles on a straight line, I'm going to just start with a line. I'm going to put in a point in the middle. This will be clear later on, so I can put my angle in. I'm going to put in a ray. I can do this in quite a lot of different ways. That's how I'm going to make it. I want to measure some angles here. So I'm going to go find the measure angles, and I'm going to click the 3 points in an anti-clockwise direction. And it'll put my angle in there. I want to put it in here as well. If you go in the other direction, I'll just put the angle on the other side. I'm just going to use my moving around tool so I can move them somewhere a bit nicer. And I've got angles on a straight line. I can have a bit of a play with it. And you can get students to have a look and try and figure out what they notice. What do they notice when you move it from one point, comparing it to another. You could even put in another line, so we can delete these and I can put in an extra ray if I would like to. So go back down to my lines, ray, put in an extra angle, and I'm going to move it back. With the online version of GeoGebra, you do have to click this before you start moving things around. If you download it, it doesn't have some of those issues. Alright, so now if I move those around, I can see a couple of these angles change, and they still add up to 180 degrees. This should be from time to time. You might find that it might be 1 degree out, that'll just be rounding. But have a play. And just one little thing. I'm going to do a few diagrams here. So I'm going to use a check button, and I'm just going to put that here. I want this to show angles on a line, whatever you want to call it. This does that same thing. You got to make sure you clicked on the just the pointer tool so you can move things around. And when I click on everything, you'll see it start to appear down here. So I'll click on all my points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points. And I'm going to click on my lines. I've got 3 lines. I've got 3 angles. They should all be down here. And so I'll click OK. When I click my checkpoint, it gets rid of all of them. I've missed one. I must have just missed a click. I can fix that by clicking on it. Settings. This is probably A. I can see that A is false at the moment. I can check it here that it changes true and false. So this is my A. I want this to show when A is true. I just need to put A and then update it. And it's there only in those cases. Alright, enjoy and have fun.